Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
Hey everyone, it's Jillian. As many of you know, I've been working on a project with my Court Junkie team for quite a while now. A new podcast called Civil that focuses on civil trials. I had originally planned on releasing Civil a few months ago, but over the last year or so, I've been going through some vigorous rounds of IVF, which kept pushing the launch back. Then my husband and I got the news that the IVF treatments worked, and while that is amazing, the first trimester has been really rough, and I haven't felt the best. So unfortunately, the launch was delayed again. But all that to say, Civil is finally ready to go. I started Court Junkie in 2016, and while researching criminal cases, I came across some really interesting civil trials that didn't really fit in with Court Junkie. So I rounded up some incredible writers and researchers, and we put together a season of Civil, which comprised many of those interesting civil trials I just mentioned and more. I wanted to include a preview of the first intro episode to give you all an idea of what Civil sounds like. So let's jump right into it. This first intro episode uses the O.J. Simpson trial to demonstrate how civil courts work versus criminal courts. Could one man's opinion about a shoe design persuade a court into ruling in his favor? Could one man's opinion about a shoe's look mean the difference between tens of millions in settlement dollars and walking away scot-free? The verdict in one of the most fascinating civil trials in United States history fell on identifying the owner of a pair of shoes. But not just any shoes. Impeccable brown leather, size 12, made by the famous Italian designer Bruno Mai. And attorneys questioned whether they belonged to none other than O.J. Simpson.
Did you ever buy shoes that you knew were Bruno Mai shoes?
No.
But hold on, let's back up. You know O.J. Simpson. You may have first known of him as a 2-time Heisman Trophy Award winner, or a legendary all-pro football star, or maybe even a famous Hollywood actor, celebrated around the world. And then, at arguably the height of his celebrity, he was charged with a gruesome double murder in the summer of 1994. His slow flight from police in a white 1993 Ford Bronco, alongside his best friend A.C. Cowlings on Los Angeles freeways, provides some of the most memorable television moments in history. Here's Cowlings on the phone with a highway patrol officer during that ride on June 17th, 1994.
This is AC. I have OJ in the car.
Okay, where are you?
Please, I'm coming up the 5 freeways.
Okay.
Right now, we are okay, but you gotta tell the police to just back off. He's still alive, but he got a gun to his head. He just want to see his mother. Let me get him to the house.
And as everyone likely knows, that was just the beginning of O.J. Simpson's legal saga. O.J.'s criminal trial was the centerpiece of that saga, a trial of the century in the phrase's truest sense, with wall-to-wall coverage in virtually every media outlet in the Western world. It tapped into some of society's most contentious concerns, not to mention O.J.'s culpability for homicide. On that last point, it was, of all things, a single article of clothing that helped defense attorneys solidify O.J.'s acquittal to a jury. That article of clothing wasn't shoes. It was a pair of designer gloves. The bloody gloves were left at the crime scene where police found O.J.'s wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman, murdered just after midnight on June 13th, 1994. The gloves were too small to be OJ's, according to OJ's defense attorney, Johnny Cochran. You might recall.
Remember these words. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
And the criminal trial jury did acquit. On October 3rd, 1995, a jury of 12 set OJ free. They found that he was not guilty of criminal charges. The gloves reportedly played a major role in their decision. But less than 4 months later, on January 26, 1996, OJ was back in the hot seat. This time, lawyers representing the families of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman probed OJ about his taste in shoes. At the crime scene, in OJ's apartment, and in the white Ford Bronco that OJ had used to flee from law enforcement, police discovered bloody prints from a pair of size 12 Bruno Mai shoes. After OJ's acquittal, attorneys discovered a previously unnoticed photograph from the National Enquirer. It showed OJ wearing those exact same shoes. The Browns and Goldmans hoped those shoe prints and the newly discovered photo would help them prove OJ liable for their loved ones' deaths. This time it was OJ, not attorney Johnny Cochran, making the argument that the shoes didn't fit, not because they didn't fit OJ's feet, but because OJ didn't like their style.
If Bruno Magli makes shoes that look like the shoes they had in court that's involved in this case, I would have never worn those ugly-ass shoes.
The attorneys pressed him.
You thought those were ugly-ass shoes?
Yes.
Why were they ugly-ass shoes?
Because in my mind they were.
The attorneys kept pressing.
What about them was ugly, Mr. Simpson?
The look of them, the style of them.
What about the style?
I don't know, they were ugly to me. Aesthetically, I felt that they were ugly, and I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and to me they were ugly shoes.
Could one man's opinion about a shoe design persuade a court into ruling in his favor? Could one man's opinion about a shoe's look mean the difference between tens of millions in settlement dollars and walking away scot-free? You likely already know the outcome, but today we'll walk through some of the most shocking moments that occurred during O.J. Simpson's civil trial, where the burden of proof was much lower, where more controversial evidence came into play, and where OJ's own words were finally heard by a jury. And you might just find that civil trials can be just as eye-opening, sometimes even more so, than criminal trials. Stay tuned. This is Jillian, and you are listening to Civil. Part 1, the civil trial. Hey, it's Jillian again. I hope you've liked what you've heard so far. The full episode can be found by searching Civil on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. The full O.J. Simpson episode is there, along with episode 2, which covers a civil case about a high school principal who hypnotized his students. Please subscribe or follow Civil, share with your friends, and thanks again for being a court junkie.